everyone, and welcome to Whose Life Is It Anyway? A show where everything is made up, but the points actually do matter. If any of that sounds a little familiar, well, that's because yes, this is an improv comedy podcast where all the stories you're about to hear were completely made up on the spot, guided and prompted by real improv comedy games. How does it work? Well, two players are tasked with having a podcast-like interview or conversation, making it all up as they go, but there's a third guest who can interrupt at any time and give them new rules or new directions for their conversation via a list of different improv games and guidelines. How do you win? Well, if a player breaks character or simply doesn't follow the rules of the game they're in at the time, the other person is awarded a point, and at the end of a 20-minute time limit, the guest with the most points wins, and of course, becomes known to the world as a comedic genius. So, without any further ado, let's find out who's making stuff up in this episode. To do the do.
Probably.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew. This episode is sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew gamer fuel for what you need to yell at someone in Call of Duty.
You spelled noir wrong.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to be an improv comedian, not a spelling bee champ, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just fix that. While you're fixing that, I'm going to go ahead and welcome everybody to the show. Welcome to Whose Life Is It Anyway? Where in this case, everything is going to be made up, but the points, they actually do matter. Because what's about to happen here is someone's life story is about to be made up right on the spot, and we're going to create an entire fake podcast interview right off the top of our domes. But of course, I cannot do that alone. First, the person I'm going to be playing with in this episode, playing with in multiple ways, I might add, my friend Taylor Lumley back on the show.
You can't see our feet right now.
The person who will be in charge of the games and guidelines, the person that'll be laying those down to help us hopefully form some sort of a real life story or podcast here, make any sort of sense of it. Leah Ingram in the captain's chair.
We can see your feet right now.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you I did set up a feet cam.
I'm gonna put my shoes back on.
Yeah, I did have a feet cam for this, for the extra content that goes out. So before we dive in, before we make a fake podcast and make up someone's life story and do all this sort of stuff, we can't do it without some guidelines. We need to lay some groundwork here. Leah, that is your job as the host of this episode. So first, who's going to be the interviewer? Who is going to get interviewed? And then if you have any ideas, what's the show going to be about?
I'm so glad you asked because in this episode of Whose Life Is It Anyway, Ross, you are going to be the one doing the interviewing. Taylor, you are going to be the interviewee. Now, Ross, we are going to be on an episode of Undercover Boss.
Okay.
And you are Chuck E. Cheese himself.
The man himself.
The man himself. And you are interviewing Taylor. And the premise of the interview is just like Chuck E. Cheese does a podcast now because, you know, they need it. And and Taylor is disgruntled assistant manager at Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
So you are going to be interviewing him,
And I'm
finding out about what goes on at Chuck E. Cheese. Does he love it? Does he hate it? And why?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Undercover boss here. So clearly you don't know that I'm Chuck E. Cheese.
No.
We'll just
he has no idea.
We'll pretend that I have one of the big character helmets on. That's what
You
we'll
will
say.
be in full costume, in full
You
Chuck
have
E.
the
Cheese.
guitar.
But you have no
But somehow
idea.
The whole interview like this.
But somehow he doesn't know it's you.
Make y'all do that in the costume. Huh? All right.
That's correct.
Not to spoil anything because I don't know what's going to go down in this episode, but I'm imagining in this, like I have a Chuck E. Cheese helmet on, and then I take it off later, and it's just me. I look exactly the same.
It's just another mouse.
Okay. All right. Let's make some stuff up. Leah, kick us off.
On your mark. Get set.
Jeez.
Go.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chuck E. Cheese podcast, the most cheesiest show in town with all your favorite characters. And we're talking to a very important character around here this week, folks. We got the assistant manager of Chuck E. Cheese. Hey, my friend, welcome to the show.
How you doing? Name's Freddie Roosevelt, no relation.
Okay.
I am the assistant manager of the Newark location.
How many years you been with the business?
I've been with the business for about 26 years.
26 years. Any any feelings about that? How you been feeling? I mean, I'm sure we love it. It's Chuck E. Cheese. It's a place, where every family goes to have a bunch of fun, eat all the fucking spaghetti and all the shit. What do you think?
It's not bad, It's cool they got me on the podcast, but at the same time, it's like, maybe I don't like, fixing the Hoops Madness machine while a kid stuffs hot pizza in my shoes.
Change.
While a kid stuffs hot pizza in my butt crack.
They do that? The kids really do that out there?
Every goddamn day. I tell you, these kids, they're just shoving pizza in every orifice that they can see.
But I'm sure, but you get a good little laugh out of it, right? You turn around, you're like, hey, kiddo, come on.
Well, I mean, I turn around and they're laughing at me because I just got pizza shoved down my go-gets, so...
All right, so we are going to go into our first game, and this game is called Yes and. The guests must continue the podcast story by starting their responses to each other with yes and.
Yeah, and the kids are like the best part of Chuck E. Cheese experience, right?
Yeah, and if by the best you mean the high point of a very low day.
Yeah, and what's so bad about the rest of the day?
Yeah, buddy, let me tell you. Between getting my hand burned off in a fryer and having to go up and try and stage tech a mechanical rat concert, it's a wild day every day.
Well, yeah, and none of that's that bad, though, because it's such a fun, family-friendly environment. Lots of games, lots of stuff rolling around. You got pizza everywhere.
Yeah, and there's plenty of pedophiles just walking the outskirts of the building.
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot.
Yeah, and we keep that away from the public eye.
Yeah, and we keep that away from the public eye.
Yeah, and I mean, we honestly, we can say here on the show, we hire a lot of pedophiles, too.
Yeah, and then we hire a lot of pedophiles. There's like this guy, I'm not going to name any names. The biggest thing is, though, is most of them are outside. Most of them.
Yeah, and a few of them do get in, though.
Yeah, when we hire them.
Yeah,
but the ones we don't hire, we keep on the outside.
Yeah, but we have really good security, though, right?
No. No. As a business that realistically is hiring pedophiles and having them fucking run around the outside.
So you're saying a few of them get in? I mean, you're on the shift, though, right? I mean, come on, you keep a watch.
Change.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the shift, though. Like, you're not one of them, are you?
Oh, God. I mean, I used to be, but not these days. So you look at one hot, sweet little man one wrong way, and all of a sudden you're getting thrown into the pizza oven.
Can you say that last part for me again?
You're getting thrown into the pizza oven,
The part before that?
The hot. No.
Okay, I must have misheard you. That's okay.
We got a pedophile problem at Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, that's fine.
They're working the outside, and me.
You know what?
I'm not really security guy.
Our producers can edit this part out. We'll forget all that part. That's not really good for the public, So if you could keep that stuff, I mean, I want to talk about it, but maybe off the record, So anyway, let's talk about the
Hey,
pizza.
watch your tail there, pal.
Oh, sorry.
All right. We are going to move into our next game called If You Know What I Mean. Guests can only speak in innuendos and say a form of if you know what I mean afterwards.
There's a lot of cheese-covered children around that place, if you know what I mean.
Kids taking meatballs to the dome, if you know what I mean.
What's your favorite secret ingredient, if you catch my drift?
I think I'd have to go with the special sauce, if you know what I'm saying.
You hitting any slam dunks out on the gamers court, if you catch my drift?
No, the field has been run clean, if you get what I'm saying.
You ever go in the back and chuck your own cheese, if you catch my drift?
I'm throwing cheese all over that back room, if you know what I'm saying.
You ever put pepperoni on your nipples? If you know what I mean.
Some people.
I Yeah, I was waiting for that.
I was coming into a pepperoni nipples joke too.
So, I mean, of course, I'm asking these questions, right? It's not because I'm like, in charge of the place and secretly finding out what you do. It's because it's just, good content for the show. And I'm just finding out what the employees do. That's the thing. That's the theme of the show. We find out what it's really like to work at Chuck E. Cheese.
And I'm sure that everyone's aware, this episode does come about after those 3 reported deaths at a Chuck E. Cheese. I will say that was not mine. However, that was mine. Those kids deserved it, okay? Those kids, for sure, they shouldn't have been shoving their hands in the back of the drummer. The kid, she had his arms clean off,
Really? Okay, so that happened at which location was that again?
This was the Newark, New Jersey Chuck E. Cheese. The address is 2697 Wintergreen Way.
Oh, no, I'm familiar with that one. I'm real familiar with that one. I was just there a couple weeks ago. Not one person said anything to me about, I heard about that one through another person that I interviewed on the podcast, and they said that old Chuck himself stopped by, and he apparently didn't get told nothing about that.
Yeah, we tried to keep it under wraps because the other kid...
You say under rats?
Yeah, so to speak. We tried to keep it under
wraps. Come on,
don't
say... Hey, don't make any mouth... Come on.
All right. We are going to implement Whose Line...
Oh, perfect.
Which is where I give you guys a couple little lines of text that you have to work into.
All right.
I try and always figure out if they're
your
upside down or not.
I know.
That's real hard. Okay, yeah. So anyway, as an employee of Chuck E. Cheese, I do have to ask you.
Yes.
Do you remember the original slogan of Chuck E. Cheese? Because I know we recite it. A lot of locations recite it every single day. Do you remember?
Hey, you're talking to a company man here, all right? I've been in the business for 26 years. The slogan, at least when I started, was, I hit a person with my car earlier.
And that is, yes, absolutely. You hit people because when you hit somebody with a car and you end up at a place like Chuck E. Cheese, that day ain't so bad. Yeah. That day ain't so bad after all. You know what I mean?
There are a lot.
Get a nice cheese covered pizza, a couple of rats playing in the corner, a nice group of fucking weird ass animals playing a song you don't want to hear, and you're shooting hoops in the back with your kid, and it's great.
And at the Newark location, we do have a section specifically for car accident victims. For some reason, is just they are coming straight to us and not the hospital.
Well, it is on that busy intersection. So they just kind of wheel them. The ambulance shows up, they wheel them right in.
And half of the time, the car actually flies through the front of our building. So.
Here's one thing. As somebody, I will say I'm close to Chuck E. Cheese. That's how I end up hosting the business, the company podcast, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and why they make you dressed in the rat costume, I get it.
Yeah. That's why I'm dressed in this costume. I can't reveal my face. It's sort of like that Dead Mouse 15 or whatever that guy is. Kind of stole
Chuck E. Cheese, Dead Mouse, Jack in the Box, Dick
Mickey,
Horley in the butts,
Mickey, that fuck,
Slipknot.
Yeah, they're all trying out there fucking stealing stealing Chucky's thunder. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I do remember the first thing, my first day working at Chuck E. Cheese. I walk right in. I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Excuse the tail. I walk in. I'm all excited. And I just remember walking through the doors, looking at the place, and I just shout out loud. I said, "Turns out all those kids deserved it." Much like you said earlier, which makes me realize that you are indeed a company man.
Hey, man, you take enough slices of pizza down the back of your gooch up into the front of your pants,
right?
And you will start to you might even stab a few kids yourself.
But I was saying that from all those kids deserve a wonderful place to go hang out with their family. You know what I mean?
Oh, see, we have definitely taken that slogan and kind of merged it with another slogan.
Are you changing the slogan now?
A little bit. So it was all the kids deserved it, and I killed my Uber driver on the way over here.
Really? Okay, so that's the new. All those kids deserved it. Yeah, you killed the Uber driver on the way here.
Well, in keeping theme with the original motto of hitting someone
like
with the car, it's like I killed a kid and I took an Uber here.
Did you run that up the chain of command, or did you just start saying shit on your own and think you own the place?
There's at the Newark location, at least, there's not really a chain of command. You have a box and it just drops straight into a shredder.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that makes... Okay, I do have a couple more questions about your location. I did see a quote in the local newspaper of one of your employees causing a little ruckus. Can I read the quote to you? And if you could let me know
by all
what
means,
they
if
meant.
I got to fire a guy, I got to fire a guy.
That's a good company man. Chucky would like that. Old Charles would like that. But here's the quote said by your employee at your location. They said at a kid's birthday party, they said, "I heard JFK's head actually just did that."
We did have a screening of the Zapruder film
Okay.
at our establishment.
The film where his head explodes.
Yeah.
You showed to children at the birthday party.
Yes, we showed the JFK getting shot in the head execution video at a child's birthday party.
And one of your employees said that they heard his head just did that.
Yes, it was President's Day.
On President's Day you did. That's the best thing you thought to celebrate President's Day with?
Well, I mean, we got it from corporate. They sent us the President's Day package, and it was a projector with the Zapruder film in it, and that was really it.
Someone from... I think you...
All right. We are going to go into questions only.
Weren't you supposed to destroy that?
Is there a way I can destroy it? I think everyone has seen it.
Didn't you say you had a shredder? Can I ask you, did you get any other notes from corporate when they sent you that footage?
Oh, there was nothing in the box. It was actually just a loose
pal.
projector filled with newspapers
Here's the
and
thing.
then a film on the top.
I know this whole podcast thing, we're talking about the love and the fun at Chuck E. Cheese, but I need to get serious with you for a second, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you, I mean, I've heard through the grapevine,
Yeah.
through the rat traps, you know,
Yeah.
that
We're going to go into the alphabet game. You pause right there, and you're going to continue your thought, starting with the letter C.
could you believe it if I told you that Chuck E. Cheese himself was the one that assassinated JFK?
Don't even think I could believe that.
Everyone thinks it was that one guy, but it wasn't.
Fuck.
Good looking out.
How's about you show me the real film then?
I don't have that footage anymore. We destroyed it years ago.
Jackoffs think that they could just tell us how to live, huh? And they think that Charles doesn't film his executions?
Kids saw this film that day.
Like kids haven't seen someone get shot in the face before.
Well,
Especially
many-
at a Chuck E. Cheese. Come on now.
Many have, but not in a context like that.
No, not in the context like that. You're right.
Okay, so I just need to know, what do you know about the connection between Charles and the assassination?
Piss. There was a lot of his piss all over the scene.
Okay?
Really, you're going to switch it up to Spanish now? You know I'm not bilingual.
Spanish is the second language that all of our employees are supposed to know at all the locations.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
I thought that was understandable. It's fine. Just a little bit of a miscommunication. But do you have any information on where that footage from that day might have ended up? I really need to get... Charles really needs to probably get his hands on that wherever he is.
Very cloudy memory of that day. Maybe some foot stuff will remind me. Oh, hey. Watch where you're going with those claws, pal. Huh?
Very wacky tale I have here. Sorry, my bad. I don't remember where we were.
I was like, wait, I think
you
I just started
did
with V.
V.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
Fuck. What comes after V in the alphabet, everyone?
Comment
W.
below if you know.
W.
If
It's
you think
the double
you're
V.
smarter than us.
Oh, they're for sure smarter than me.
So we're going to go back in. We're in our last about 5 minutes. And so what I'd like to do is just throw in a twist where Ross does reveal himself as Chuck E. Cheese himself.
Beautiful.
And he reveals that you are going to be on this episode of Undercover Boss.
All right.
But we're also going to play number of words.
Love it. Love it.
Ross gets 4 words. Taylor gets 3 words. Are you ready? And
Hey, look at this.
Oh, wow. Chucky.
It's me, Mr. Cheese.
I didn't know.
That was the point.
Undercover boss. Nice. Now I get it. I fucked up my own thing.
Okay, yeah. So okay,
Wait,
now
is
you
it
understand.
undercover? I don't know if it's all one word or not, but
Oh, no, I accidentally just said more words because
Okay,
I'm stupid.
Well, now you get it, pal. That was me under that mouse head with the same mouse head that I have on right now.
It's like one of
It's
those
me,
Russian
Charles.
dolls of a mouse with pizza in his ass crack.
Something like that. But I need you to track down that footage, okay? I don't care about the whole, like, clearly you're not running the place very well.
Hold on, time out. You want me to get the...
we're going to pause for a second, and we're going to change for the last 4 minutes the theme of this podcast to a horror about the assassination of JFK
By
Chuck E. Cheese. And go.
So I swear to God, man, I was there. I was there in 1963, and I saw a giant fucking mouse take the shot right from the grassy knoll. It was insane. And now here I am, being interviewed by him.
Okay. You think you have me backed into a corner, huh?
No, I think you had JFK backed into a corner, pal.
This isn't going to work for the listeners at home. But I think it's time you see my true form.
Oh, God. The dinosaur from Jurassic Park.
Exactly.
Fucking knew it.
It's me, and it's scarier because we're in a horror film while
I
we
saw
do it.
you that day.
It's darker when I do this one.
I have a mood board at home about all of this, and I've been tracking it for years.
You were a terrible employee, and now I have no choice but to kill you, murder you, just like someone would kill someone in a horror film.
Do I still have to come in on Monday?
The scariest thing of all, you do.
Oh my gosh. Should we call it right there?
I haven't heard the timer go off.
It has not. I mean, technically, we still have 3 minutes to
Well,
go.
hey, you know what?
my
If I gotta
God,
come in
that's
Monday,
scary.
I might just fucking kill myself. How about that, pal, huh? You think you can set up JFK? You think you could take him down? You know, bullets to the face, bullets to the chest, huh?
You know something that has confused me this entire time?
Yeah.
That location in Newark, New Jersey that you said you worked at this entire time?
Yeah.
That's been closed for 40 years.
Oh, God, I'm a ghost, ain't I?
Wow,
You sixth sense my ass, didn't you, you bastard rat?
all of this is just like a horror movie
I'm
that the
gonna-
host told us we needed to be within the theme of.
Die so soon.
We're doing such a good job of being in a horror movie. Also, you're not very scared of my final form that I showed you. You got pretty used to it pretty quick.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm from Newark. I've seen worse.
How much time we should rapid fire a game?
Okay, rapid fire. We
Oh
are
wait,
going
well I'm
to
not the
do-
host. I don't know.
No, that's a good idea. We are going to do,
Are we still in a horror movie?
yes,
Okay.
film noir. So podcasters must keep breaking into at-camera delivered film noir style narrations of how the conversation is going.
We are in an old school horror film now.
Yes, yes. Black and white, all of it. Just painting a picture.
So I don't really understand how you got so used to me just sitting here with all these tentacles shooting out the side of my face and my tail rubbing up against your leg under the table this entire time. The one thing he didn't know was that the thing he's been feeling under the table, rubbing against his leg this entire time, that wasn't my tail. So anyway, you're not really worried.
As his tail caresses over my loaded gun I have pointed at him under the table, I look him in the eye and I say, I'm not worried about nothing, pal. I work at Chuck E. Cheese.
That's a good company motto. And I do have one question. I knew what I was about to ask him, and I knew I was going to meet my fate. But one day, after all the children I've killed, I had no choice but to meet my maker. I knew what I was about to ask and what it was going to lead to. Hey, pal, is that a gun in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me?
Turns out, I was happy to see him. That's a boner, pal.
I'm giving him a point.
How much time do we have left?
14 seconds.
I feel like there's not even
Shooting Chuck E. Cheese with my...
half a boner that I'm caressing
With my
and
boner
you start
gun.
shooting me. You know what? I don't think we can make a better... I'm imagining visually this gradual music
bullet holes.
Chuck E. Cheese getting filled with bullet holes and blood flying everywhere.
A tail just coming up like, no!
Oh my god.
I gotta go to work on Monday. I don't need tail breath.
That is actually incredible. I did not think that episode was going to end.
With a shootout?
Wow, that series of events were honestly also great call on Film Noir because that ended up helping us set up the ending.
I was like,
perfectly.
I was like, fuck, how do you turn a Chuck E. Cheese at the JFK assassination into a horror movie? Oh, man.
Well, folks.
That's a boner, pal.
For
That's
anyone
a boner, pal.
keeping track at home, we are actually all tied up right now.
Oh, shit.
Because
Sudden death.
both of you have 3 points currently. And so we are going to have to go into a real sudden death.
Oh, my God.
Not just the sudden death that happened before us.
I'm actually just shocked that I scored
also-
more than 1 point.
I love that since unless you completely change it up, I love that if we stay in the characters that we were, I'm Chuck E. Cheese, but still alive after getting shot up. Unless you change
Like
it.
some of
Leah,
your
it's up to
suit
you.
caught the bullets and
So
you're just like,
here's
"Ah!"
here's my thought is that for the tiebreaker, it's going to be the producer of the show coming on and promoting Taylor from assistant manager to the new head of Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, my God. As I lay there
And-
having no choice but to accept it because I'm dying.
Because you are, yeah, exactly. So,
All right.
But we are going to play a game in order to break this tie.
Yes, of course.
And this time around, we are going to do number of words again.
Oh, shit.
All right? And this time, Ross is going to get 6 words. Taylor is also going to get 6 words
Oh, my God. We're breaking the rules for this one.
because it's a tie.
I like it.
And so we're going to begin with the producer running up, and having to pass the torch before Chucky takes his last breaths. Are you ready?
Are one of us playing the producer, or
You-
that has just happened?
Yeah, you'd be
So
the producer.
you are
Chucky's
being
dying.
the producer because Chucky is.
Oh.
And I mean, you could be Chucky
I
also.
think I
as
might
he's
try and
like-
be both because I really want him to speak while he's dying.
Then that's up to you. But
Okay, I'll be the
also-
producer first and
but
then I'll-
six, but 6 words regardless of which part you're playing.
So it starts on me.
Yes.
Is that okay? Hey, Chucky is dying. Oh shit.
Yeah, turns out he don't. Bullets.
All right. Okay.
What was that?
Turns out Chuck E. Cheese ain't bulletproof, motherfucker. Ah!
Just to wrap this one up because I want to. Let me. No. Everything I worked for. Gone.
Not today, you rat fucking bastard.
Please tell my wife and children.
Did he say tell who now?
Wait, I'm not dead yet, fucker.
Oh God, he is alive. Shoot it!
No, wait. Please, one last slice.
This slice is for you, Chuck.
No, I didn't mean you eat. He died wanting one last slice of pizza, and you thought that meant he wanted to watch you eat it.
Turns out, didn't like pizza in ass.
That is why Ross was the winner.
Now
I
it's
don't
over.
know words.
I love it.
Now it's over. Finally, Charles E. Cheese has been brought to death.
R.I.P.
And justice for what he committed.
What he did.
to all those children.
All those
JFK.
children and
Hiring
JFK, and then,
pedophiles.
and then also having children watch the JFK shooting before exposing them to pedophiles and killing
Oh,
them.
man. Yeah.
Almost,
Turns out.
I say even in the midst of exposing them to pedophiles. Like, hey, watch this movie while this guy comes over with your pizza and
Hey,
says some weird shit to you.
yeah. Hey, you're gonna watch this movie while you sit on this man's lap.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's too close to home.
Turns out. Charles E. Cheese, the real villain of this story.
This is actually just
This
how
horror story.
This horror, what turned into a horror story?
This is actually a true story. This is how I watched the Zapruder film as a kid.
At Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese.
I like that you
just
brought
had a
some-
pinball machine, like.
I'm glad you can pull some real life experience into the show here. Okay, so that was the tiebreaker. I won. Is that
You
what you said?
won.
Oh my god, that one came down to the
To the literal wire.
actual wire.
Thinner than a slice of mozzarella.
Okay, well, I think we should wrap this one up. It's went from Undercover Boss to a horror movie to JFK conspiracy to Chuck E. Cheese being finally put down and out of his misery. Let's play, Leah, I want to play one last game all together as we
Okay.
say goodbye. I think there's only one proper way to do it.
And I think I know which one it is because we do it every time.
What?
And it's one word at a time.
Beautiful. So
And
let's
we're
form
gonna-
a
It's
wonderful
the only
goodbye.
game where I have
Yeah.
no trouble counting the words because it's one.
Yeah, it's
you
just
know?
one.
It's
just
not
one word.
zero.
We just counted a bunch of them. Now we just have to count one. Leah, you're in the captain's chair. You're in the host chair.
I get to go first.
Kick us off.
Ladies,
And
Ladies.
it's
time
For,
us.
to
say,
Farewell.
and
one,
More.
thing.
do,
We.
Like
pizza,
With.
Chuck
blood,
In.
it.
if,
We.
Don't
well,
That's
to
damn.
bad.
baby.
Pretty good. And that is the new slogan for Chuck E. Cheese. This episode sponsored by Chuck E. Cheese.
Pew, pew,
Just like the logo.
pew.
Get a slice at Chuck E. Cheese, unless you don't have a kid with you, because they won't let you in.
The JFK thing was a conspiracy. Chuck E. Cheese did it.